Welcome to the Explainer! Today, we're diving deep into the world of our canine companions. We're not just talking about barks, we're going to translate them. We're going to figure out what our dogs are really trying to say.
You know the feeling, right? That barking that just goes on and on until it feels like, well, just noise. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if every single woof is actually a word, a piece of a message designed just for you? To really get why your dog barks the way it does, we've got to rewind the clock, a few thousand years to be precise. Because this story doesn't start with your puppy on the couch. It starts in the wild, with its ancestor, the wolf.
Now get this, the difference is absolutely staggering. Wolves, they hardly ever bark. It's a tiny, tiny part of how they communicate. But for our domestic dogs, it's become their primary language. Scientists call this hypertrophic, which is a fancy way of saying we basically put their barking instinct on steroids. And this wasn't some random evolutionary fluke. Oh no, this was a choice. We did this on purpose. For generation after generation, our ancestors picked the dogs that were the loudest, the most vocal, and bred them, intentionally shaping them into the communicators we have today.
So, why? Why did we want them to be so noisy? Well, canine researcher Dr. Stanley Coren just nails it right here. For early humans, a barking dog wasn't a nuisance. It was a feature. It was the best, cheapest, and furriest alarm system you could ever ask for.
So that ancient alarm system has since evolved into something way more sophisticated. It's like a secret code hidden in the sound itself. And the best part? It's a code that you can actually learn to crack. And it all boils down to just these three things: pitch, duration, and rhythm. Think of this as your secret decoder ring for dog speak. If you can listen for these three elements, you can understand the emotion behind almost any bark out there. First up, pitch. This one's pretty intuitive. Think about it. A low, deep sound, like a growl, that's a universal warning, right? It means back off. On the flip side, high-pitched sounds, like a yip, signal the complete opposite. They're an invitation, basically saying, hey, it's safe, I'm no threat.
Okay, next, you gotta listen to how long the sound is. A long, drawn-out bark or growl, that shows confidence. That dog means business and is standing its ground. But short, clipped sounds, that often hints at fear or uncertainty, like the dog is saying, I'm not so sure about this whole situation.
And the last piece of our decoder ring is rhythm. How fast are those barks coming? A string of rapid-fire barks means high alert, high excitement. It's urgent. Compare that to a single lonely bark, a pause, another bark. That's often a sign of low excitement or even loneliness. More of an, is anyone out there?
All right, so knowing this blueprint shines a huge spotlight on one of the biggest mistakes we all make. The dog starts barking its head off, and what's our first instinct? We yell at it to be quiet, right?
Well, here's the problem. Our shouting gets totally lost in translation. As animal behaviorist Dr. Patricia McConnell so brilliantly puts it, to your dog, your loud, sharp yell doesn't sound like a correction. It sounds like you, the pack leader, are joining in. You're just a big, weird dog barking right alongside them, which only makes them think, okay, this is a big deal.
Okay, so you've got the acoustic blueprint. Now let's put it into practice. We're going to be bark detectives and decode a couple of the most common barks you're likely to hear. Let's look at two totally different scenarios. First, the imminent threat. The pitch is low and harsh. The body is stiff, tense. The message is deadly serious. Danger is here. Now, do a complete 180. The play bark. The pitch is high, energetic. The body is loose and wiggly. Maybe there's a play bow. It's a clear acoustic and physical invitation that says, hey, let's play. This is all for fun. See? Two completely different languages.
So this brings us to the big paradox, doesn't it? We bred dogs to be our alarms, and now we get frustrated when the alarm goes off. If yelling doesn't work, then what on earth are we supposed to do? Well, the experts say we need to stop punishing and start communicating.
It's actually a pretty simple three-step process. First, manage the environment. If the mailman is a trigger, maybe block that view. Second, and this is key, acknowledge the alert. Calmly say, thank you, I see it. You're telling your dog, message received, job done. And finally, give them a new job to do, something they can't do while barking, like going to their mat.
And that leads us to probably the most important point of all this. A bark is never just a bark. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. To really get the message, you have to stop just hearing the noise and start seeing the whole dog. Think of the bark as just one word in a sentence. The rest of the sentence is body language. What's the tail doing? A high, stiff wag is not the same as a loose, full-body helicopter wag. Are the ears forward and alert, or pinned back in fear? Are the eyes soft or hard? The whole body tells a story, and you need all of it to truly understand.
And you know when you start doing this, something really incredible starts to happen. This isn't just about managing a behavior anymore. When your dog feels heard, feels understood, you're building a bond of security and trust that is just profound. You're no longer just an owner, you're their partner.
So the goal here is to shift from being a manager of noise to being a partner in a conversation. You're not just giving commands, you're actually starting a dialogue. And really, the only question left is, now that you finally know how to listen, what has your dog been trying to tell you all this time?